Hello, everyone. Welcome to our daily devotion today. Back about exactly a year ago, I remember there was a time that was probably one of the most normal times of my entire life when we were beginning to gather as a church and try to figure out how are we going to respond to coronavirus? How are we going to respond in such a way that is keeping our people safe? And everything was becoming real. And we started saying things like, "Oh, some people on staff might be spending some time at home for a little bit." And then the very next day or 2 days later, I heard a comment that everyone was going to be working from home, and everything was moving so fast. Church is shutting down, even college campuses are shutting down. And I remember sitting in our South Campus chapel one day, and my chest was tight. I couldn't breathe. I just felt uncomfortable. I couldn't get, my back was just like, really, I felt just like tingling, kind of going up and down. And I remember coming to my wife, Jade, she was my fiance at the time, and just explaining all that was happening. And she said, "You know what you're experiencing? It's anxiety." And I had never really truly felt that or experienced that in that way before. And in the middle of all this, I remember the Apostle Paul's words from Philippians chapter 4, verse 4 through 7. What he says is, he says, "Rejoice in the Lord always." Again, I will say it, rejoice. And you go on to continue with that passage, and you're thinking, how in the world are we supposed to rejoice in times like this? How am I supposed to rejoice in ... Right? How am I supposed to rejoice when everything is taken away from me? How am I supposed to rejoice when, a relationship has ended? Or how am I supposed to rejoice when the world seems to fall out from underneath me? But then we remember where the Apostle Paul was when he wrote that passage, that he was not in the luxury of this glorious home, but he was in the depths of a Roman prison. Or of a prison in some sense. He was every town. He never asked what hotel he would be staying at. He always asked what are the prisons that are in this town, because he knew that he was going to spend time there. And out of this being thrown into prison in persecution of going towards this road of death over and over and over again, he says, "Rejoice in the Lord always." In this moment, when we feel anxiety, when we feel stress, whatever it is that's weighing us down, we can stop, acknowledge how we're feeling in this moment. Acknowledge the presence of God with us regardless of how we feel, and we can redirect that attention back to God. I heard a quote fairly recently. It's that anxiety is an alert for us that it's time to pray. Anytime we feel anxiety, we redirect that to prayer. Another way of saying it is that if it's big enough to worry about, it's big enough to pray about. If there are things in our life that are weighing us down, rather than just like sucking that up and just like living life continually, it's to invite God into that space. There are extra steps needed sometimes. Maybe that's medication, maybe it's seeing a therapist or counselor, which we completely are with you, and we want to walk alongside you as together we move forward. But also remembering the presence of God in that time, knowing that no matter how bad this life can get, no matter how much life can weigh us down, that His presence is with us, and we can rejoice in the Lord, even when the world says that that's crazy to rejoice in that situation. So I pray that this blesses you, that you feel the peace of God that transcends all human understanding, that fills and guards your heart and your mind in Christ Jesus. God bless.